Hey gang, it's JC and this is Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 10th, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Archives, top of the page, Eye Candy Archives, bottom of the page, Dave Murray's weather forecast and the audio on iTunes. You can get us on your smartphone. And of course, we're on the big 550 KTRS every day starting at 10 o'clock going until 1. Highlights of shows on the audio tab on KTRS.com. And of course, we're encouraging everybody to download the free app, Tune In Radio, where you can get 40,000 radio stations from around the world and also a 2-hour record function. So there you go. We were at South Pacific last night, opening night at the fabulous Fox Theater. And whenever you have something like this, there's two issues. Number one, is the material any good? And number two, what do they do with it? And on both counts, it's just a resounding yeah, because this is one of the greatest musicals of all time. And it's got everything. It's got action, it's got intrigue, it's got sex, it's got heroism, it's got great music. And by the way, it's really funny. And it's one of those shows where, you know, if you're sitting there going, well, I don't know about musicals, that sounds sort of gay to me, go to this thing, you'll have a great time. It's going to be in town for about, I think it's 13 days. And at the Fox, and go get yourself some tickets. It's a great night out, and the Fox always does a great job. So there we go. There's my plug for the Fox Theater, because it really is it's a particularly good show. All right, Bristol Palin gained 15 pounds during her time on Dancing with the Stars. So the answer is yes, you can get pregnant from dancing. Kim Kardashian and her sisters are releasing a MasterCard. That's one card where you don't want to get behind in your payments. Get behind. Michael Jackson's kids said their dad made the best French toast in the world. I guess they got the idea from the International House of Pedophiles. U.S. military experts still can't explain why a missile shot across the skies of Los Angeles on Monday. We've all seen that video and the stills of that vapor trail. Nobody has any idea what's going on. There is speculation that Ellen sneezed while playing with a vibrator. That's just a guess. And L.A. unveiled a plan to eliminate homelessness by 2016. So finally some good news for the remaining Jackson brothers. How about this story yesterday? And I haven't seen it reported in a lot of places, but this is just unbelievable. Keith Olbermann on MSNBC, and say what you want about Olbermann, because I know I can only take him in small doses, really. But so he's serving out the suspension. And while he's on suspension yesterday, all over the internet, with a Philadelphia newspaper, the Philadelphia, what is it? It just says columnist. I don't know what paper. But anyhow, so this guy gets an email from Keith Olbermann. And so he starts, going back and forth with him, getting various questions answered and responses from Keith Olbermann. And in these series of emails, Olbermann just absolutely trashes his bosses at MSNBC, calls them every name of the book and the whole thing, and just basically talks him down. There's only one problem. It wasn't Keith Olbermann. And not only was it a fraud, but when they finally were able to trace it back, and I don't know how they do this, but they traced it back, and it turned out that the email address for a website that Olbermann doesn't even have anything to do with was acquired by conservative writer and broadcaster Tucker Carlson, that little shit. So, and it's just, I'm waiting to see how long it'll be before this circulates all over the place. Olbermann said this, Olbermann said that, without the explanation that it was phony baloney from the beginning. Unbelievable. And somebody told me, by the way, that that's illegal, that you can actually go to jail for misrepresenting yourself in an email. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to do a little extra digging, as they say on Channel 4. The early numbers are in. Conan O'Brien's debut on TBS was just a smashing success. And so now we'll see what happens, because Conan's audience fell over 50% after his first week on The Tonight Show last year. So we'll see what happens. The Parents Television Council, which is basically a bunch of Bible-thumping morons who sit there with a clipboard and a pencil, and they watch TV and they write down every time there's a dirty word. This is their sole existence in life. This is their purpose. They think they're actually contributing something to society. Oh, poop, he said poop. Put a check mark in the poop box. They have released an alarming report claiming that instances of profanity are increasing at an alarming rate in primetime TV. The report looked at the first 2 weeks of programming on the broadcast networks this season, compared it to the first 2 weeks in 2005. They say profanity is up 69%. How ironic that Dirty Talk would be up 69%. If I'm at the Parents Television Council, I change that to like 68 just to, just so I can't make jokes about it. Fox, by the way, showed the greatest per hour increase in profanity from 2005 to 2010 with a 269% increase. There it is again, 269. I can't write stuff like this. These days, Phil Collins, formerly of Genesis, is more interested in the Battle of the Alamo than he is in rock and roll. He's become this bizarrely obsessed historian and archivist, and it's all about the Alamo. He says he has hundreds of cannonballs, documents, and other artifacts in his basement in Switzerland, all from the Alamo. He's been telling Rolling Stone magazine that he was told by a psychic that he fought at the Alamo in a previous life, and Phil thinks it could be true. I think all that banging on those drums all those years maybe did something to him, and it really has done something to him now because he's got neck and spinal cord injuries from drumming. He can't even hold a pair of drumsticks anymore. If he wants to play the drums, they have to tape drumsticks to his hand, and then he can sort of play. He also says, and this is in the Department of way too much information, that he occasionally has trouble wiping himself. Thank you, Phil, for that image. And he admits that he's had suicidal thoughts over the years. Listen to this. This is a quote. "I wouldn't blow my head off. I'd overdose or do something like that didn't hurt, but I wouldn't do that to my children." A comedian who committed suicide in the 60s left a note saying, "Too many things went wrong too often. I often think about that." Those are all quotes. Somebody better keep an eye on Phil Collins. I'm not a psychologist, but I don't know if it's worse if you keep it to yourself or you start sharing it with other people. But somewhere there's a psychiatrist or a psychologist or somebody who specializes in stuff like this who would know the answer to that. Eminem says he has read only one book in his life, and it's not the Bible or Catcher in the Rye or something like that. It was the autobiography of LL Cool J called "I Make My Own Rules." And Eminem says he does a lot of his writing on the toilet. Here we go again. Maybe he and Phil Collins could work something out. Dakota Fanning has been named her high school homecoming queen for the second year in a row. She's 16, goes to school in North Hollywood. After 40 years, Gene Shalit, the mustached film critic on the Today Show, is hanging it up. He's been with the show since 1973. Here's a new idea for keeping your family from killing each other over the holidays. A new study finds that people calm down if they see meat. It's because our ancestors relaxed when they had cooked meat in front of them, since it meant no survival worries, at least for a little while. Good news for this holiday season, your toy dollars could go further because of 4 major retailers are really in a toy price war. They include Target, Walmart, Toys R Us, and Amazon.com. They're all slashing prices like crazy. In Florida, a young girl got carjacked while driving around in her small pink battery-operated Fisher-Price Power Wheels Barbie Jammin' Jeep. The thief turned out to be an acquaintance of the family. He was hauled off. How about this guy? He buys a used book online for $4.49, finds John Fitzgerald Kennedy's autograph inside. He'll be rich. A small town in Germany is trying to attract a new doctor since they're only one retired, so local businesses are offering free bread, sausage, and haircuts. Why didn't I go to medical school? It hasn't been bad enough of a week for the Dallas Cowboys. On the day they fired their coach, they forgot to renew their website domain name, and so now they've lost it. They've lost it in more ways than one. What do we got here? Tracy Morgan having a birthday today, 42. He was Brian Fellow. What a great character that was. Moody Blues released on this date, 1967, Nights in White Satin, not to be confused with Craig Hawksley and Nights at White Castle. And what else we got? Oh, it was on this date in 1992 that Axl Rose was found guilty of inciting a riot at Riverport. He was given a suspended sentence, ordered to donate $10,000 to 5 charities. Little known fact, the attorney who represented Axl Rose in that case at Riverport, a guy by the name of Tom Caradonna. Nice enough guy, and he was a former St. Louis County cop. He was the attorney who defended Stephen D.C. in the lawsuit that I had with them way back, and we took them for $370,000. So it's just a funny little thing about St. Louis. All right, what do we got here? JC's Eye Candy today. I love this because one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And again, it's not a cinematic masterpiece, but it's just laugh out loud, screaming ass funny. And of course, I'm talking about Anchorman with Will Ferrell and a bunch of other guys. Now, Stephen Carell plays the idiot weatherman Brick Tamland, but Carell wasn't famous back when they were making this movie, so he had to audition for the role. And that is what we have on JC's Eye Candy today here on the website. That tape is hilarious, this audition, which I've never seen before. I didn't even know anything about it, but we have that as our Eye Candy feature today, so go check that out. Okay, about a week and a half ago, we had Super Dave Osborne on the show. His brother, of course, is Albert Brooks. That is your Video Village today in an interview we did with Albert back in 1991 for the movie Defending Your Life. The Wayback Machine goes back to the early 1990s for a TV commercial with the Slyman Brothers. Try us, you'll like us. All right, that's pretty much all we got here today. I'm tired. We were up late last night at South Pacific, but I'll be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed by tomorrow, I'm sure. That's it, JC's Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 10th, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.